Hey guys, my name is Ryan Gillespie. I'm the owner and general manager of Peak Athletics. We are a small personal training and group class studio here in Wilmington, North Carolina, where we train athletes and teams, as well as have general public adults, kind of weekend warriors, come in and work out with us. And I'm here to tell you about our COVID story. So Peak Athletics started in 2017. It rose from the ashes of another gym that I used to work for that closed down suddenly, and I retained all my clients and kind of risked it all to start a new gym. And kind of started that, and we continued to grow through 2017, 2018, 2019. We host a wrestling club, and we also host a group called Rocksteady Boxing, which is a program to help people battling Parkinson's disease. So those are kind of the things that we do here in Peak Athletics. And when COVID first kind of came on the scene in 2020, we kind of figured that, like everybody else, we're going to, kind of shut down for a short period of time. And when the governor said we were forced to close back in March of 2020, kind of said, okay, let's quickly pivot. We kind of were expecting it at the time as things were getting worse. So we quickly pivoted, kind of took everything online, gave our group class participants an app that they could do their home workouts with programs that we designed. We started pushing out some home-based workouts to our Rocksteady Boxers. And that group alone, that's a tough group, and I want to kind of talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the video here. But we quickly pivoted as much as we could. We did online and outdoor workouts, went to local parks, the beach, people's homes, wherever people that were willing to support us through this shutdown, we went there. I probably put more miles on my car than in this past summer than in the last 5 years. But really the sad part about this whole summertime shutdown was that Rocksteady Boxing group. Parkinson's disease, if you don't know much about it, it's a disease that really deteriorates the function of the body, able to move and just do daily activities. And without forced exercise like we did with Rocksteady, pushing them harder than they would push themselves, it was tough to see them kind of deteriorate all summer. Even with what we were trying to do and giving them home-based workouts, it just wasn't the same as them coming in. And we had 30 strong in that group prior to things shutting down, and we just watched them deteriorate. And I know in my heart, if they were able to continue, they would still be going strong. And over the summer, I learned that 2 of our boxers even passed away, and that's a hard thing to swallow when they would not have been impacted like that if they were able to continue and if COVID wasn't here. Now, we weren't willing to take that risk and bring them in, even with COVID. That just wasn't an option, because if they did get it for any reason, then they'd be in much worse shape than that. But it's just tough to swallow when you have a group like that you put so much time and effort and just seeing the reward of them being able to live their life the best they can with this disease that has no cure. But we're still kind of fighting through that right now, and starting to come out of the summer in 2020 and able to reopen in September. Rocksteady was still not able to do that. They didn't feel comfortable coming out, and I don't blame them for that. But we were able to open up in September and start to try to bring our clients back in. And, opening up though at 30% capacity really wasn't ideal, obviously. And a lot of people still didn't want to be be home, and, just scared to come out, and especially into a gym. But we still, battled on, and we got into October, and that's when everything really, for me, kind of got worse. I was working on the gym here with a friend of mine, doing a little bit of construction to, make our gym a little bit more attractive, and I was up in an attic space getting some stuff down, and I ended up crashing through the floor of the attic, landing on the floor below, falling about 12 feet, and ended up breaking my neck in multiple places and rupturing a few discs, and ended up having to have surgery in November, and have a little scar here to show for it, where they fused the 3 vertebrae and put a nice plate and some screws in. And I'm honestly lucky to be alive right now. I think, number one, God has a plan for me to continue doing what I'm doing. And number two, my fitness level, helped save my life, or at least save me from being in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And I'm battling it and trying to come back from this injury, and trying to, promote wellness and just being strong in general to anybody who's willing to listen. And so from that injury, though, I wasn't able to work for about 2 months, and I have 3 other trainers that work here and one other instructor, and they freaking took the ball and ran. I owe them so much that we were able to continue, because if I didn't have them, there's no way this business would have survived those 2 months that I was basically laid up, couldn't do anything. And when I was able to come back in and start working again, they've supported me through this whole thing, and I'm trying to do the best that I can for them and continue running the business. I paid them all summer. They created online programs. They worked with clients outside. I've done everything I can to kind of keep them busy, and they picked up all of my personal clients, and they was able to continue the business even if I was not here, and I owe them so much, and I don't know how to repay them, honestly. But now we're kind of into January. I was able to kind of get back into the building in December, and finally kind of get back to, I wouldn't say normal, but COVID is still impacting us every day, whether that's clients that have to be quarantined because they got exposed, or even them getting sick themselves. Now, we've been fortunate; none of my staff have been sick, and including myself. So we haven't had really any scares or anything like that. Having to shut down due to COVID. Nothing is going to be traced to us. But I've had so many clients that have been impacted by COVID. They've gotten it themselves, or they've been exposed to others that have gotten it, and we've just limping along at this point. So I know I'm probably rambling on a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of spin the camera around and show you a little bit of our gym, and kind of show you the spaces that we work with. I have one of my trainers right here right now, kind of working with a client, but again, we're kind of limited to how many people we can have in here right now. So I'm gonna spin. So this is our little lobby area where people come in, and we have a little TV up here where we kind of showcase some of our clients and some of the stuff that we've done in the past, here working out at the beach in a group class, or some of our athletes, doing their workouts. And then from here we kind of go into the gym. So we're kind of a warehouse gym, small facility, about 5,000 square feet. We kind of go into, we have a couple different rooms here that we use. This is the room where we have the wrestling mat, and We have a wrestling club in here, but we also use this wrestling mat for our Rocksteady boxers. The mat's perfect because we do have some people that are fall risks, so if they fall on the mat, they're not, injuring themselves. And we see we have our boxing heavy bags up, and as we come around here, have our racks and things like that we train our athletes in. And then I'll come back here into the other smaller space. But this is kind of where we do some of our personal training and our group classes. Again, we're kind of limited on numbers. But there's Berkeley and Maggie. There you go. And do our, again, the training in here, and then it kind of wraps around. And unfortunately, kind of little scene of the crime here. This is our little yoga studio, but that right there is where I crashed through the ceiling and landed on this floor. And kind of wraps around again. And then this other little small room, this is kind of where we do our lab. We do metabolic testing, and our client, my trainers use this kind of meeting with new clients and things like that. So we kind of come back out into the lobby area. So just in closing, I want to say, Dave and everybody, you guys at Barstool Sports are just amazing for even creating and coming up with this fund. The government hasn't done anything, at all. So, from day one, I couldn't get the PPP funding. They said I wasn't eligible because of, how my business was structured. So I've been fighting tooth and nail. I haven't paid myself probably since June of 2020, just so that I can keep this going and pay my trainers and do everything I can possibly do to keep it open. It's kind of my home away from home. This is, what I need to survive. And on top of everything, with the business, and then on top of that, my injury, through 2020, because of the business kind of suffering through this, I didn't have health insurance. I didn't have workman's comp insurance. So the injury and all that, those bills are really piling up. And if I don't have the business, then I don't know how I'm going to pay those bills either. So I know in my heart I have a community of people that are awesome. My friends, when I got injured, they took it upon themselves to even create a GoFundMe page because of my medical expenses. That FundMe page got shared over 800 times. Over 370 people contributed to it. It raised about $45,000 for my medical costs, but I'm looking at about $60,000 to $70,000 in medical costs right now. But that's my own personal issues that I have to deal with. But I just want to try to make this business succeed and get through until COVID is at least out of our life, or at least not impacting us like it is right now. If we can get through this short period, hopefully in the summer, people can start feeling comfortable coming back into our facility. We'll make it. We'll survive. But it's just been so hard to try to get through this past year. But I'm going to do it. So I just want to say thanks again. And I know you guys have to make some tough decisions on who to support, and I just pray that we might be one of them. But thank you guys. Appreciate it.